Buying a property is a huge financial decision. It requires a lot of research, time, and understanding of technical terms such as carpet area, built up area, super area, etc. While price and location remain the most important parameters to buy property, one must avoid the property jargons used by the builders to make an informed decision. Today, I'm joined by my colleague Sanket Dhanorkar, who will decode terms and concepts to prospective buyers who are planning to buy their dream house. Hello, Sanket. We hear a lot of terms like super area, carpet area. What should one consider while they plan to buy their dream house?
The most commonly known aspect is the carpet area. This is basically the livable area of the property, right? If you measure from the inner walls of the house or you lay a carpet from wall to wall, that will give you the actual carpet area of the property, which is the space wherein you can actually live in. Nowadays, it is now mandatory for all developers to disclose the carpet area for all units on their brochures and the website. Right. Next up is the built-up area. Built-up area is basically includes the size of the walls and the ducts, if any, over and above the carpet area. This is typically 10 or 15% above the carpet area. The last concept is super built-up area, where there is a lot of confusion among home buyers or lack of awareness, if I may say so. It is basically the total sellable area. It basically includes the non-livable area of the property, which includes the common facilities like the staircase, the lobby, the elevator. This is not directly charged to the buyer, but it is divided proportionately between all the flats. So the unit price of the flat is charged on the super built-up area and not the carpet area.
All right, Sanket, next question is that what is this loading factor and how is that calculated if a person has to know who's going to buy a new house for the first time?
Loading basically refers to the difference between the super built-up area and the carpet area, as we discussed earlier. Now, the loading factor is the extent of the non-livable common area, which is added to the carpet area and charged to the buyer. Now, what buyers need to be aware of is the cost of additional amenities that the developer provides is usually passed on to the customers in the form of these loading charges. It is very essential to identify what exactly, find out what exactly is the loading factor, because there are different ways that developers actually calculate it, some of which are not exactly accurate. But to exactly, if you want to buy a property for the right price and not end up paying higher for lesser space, you should know what is the loading factor of the property.
Right now, talking about the floor space index, what is that exactly?
Okay, so this may sound a bit technical, but basically floor space index is the ratio of the total area covering all the floors in the property of the building to the total plot area. So it essentially indicates how much construction or maximum amount of construction that is allowed on the given plot of area. A project with a higher FSI typically allows the builder to offer higher livable space for a smaller plot area. This, of course, the FSI differs from place to place and depends on various factors, depending on the type of building, the width of the adjacent roads, and availability of other infrastructure in the area.
Yeah, going ahead, can you throw some light on the ready reckoner rate and how important it is for the new buyer to check this term before they go on their new venture drive?
Okay, so the ready reckoner rate is essentially the minimum price at which a property has to be registered in case of a transfer. Okay, it is also known as a circle rate. Okay, has to be registered on the either the declared transaction value or the minimum rate set by the government, whichever is higher. Now, the stamp duty which you have to pay when you buy the property is calculated as a percentage of the ready reckoner or the higher value.
Can a property be bought at below or above the ready reckoner rate, and what are the repercussions to it?
Yeah. So as a buyer, you can buy at a price below or higher than the ready reckoner value. But in terms of the tax liability, and the kind of stamp duty that you have to pay, it does have an impact.
So, like the most important question now, what are the documents one should keep handy while buying a property?
Okay, so there are a host of different documents that are usually associated with buying a property. Uh, I'll just probably shortlist a few of them, which are most important for the buyer's perspective. Number one is the no objection certificate. I think before buying the property, the buyer can ascertain if the NOC is in place. It basically tells you that the authority has certified that the construction plans are in order and conform to all the guidelines, without which the construction cannot really progress. Next is the occupancy certificate. This is basically something you get when the property is completed. It basically specifies that it is fit for the occupier, tells you that it has sort of complied with all possible construction plans and all any other local laws. Another thing is the encumbrance certificate. Whenever you're buying a property, I think it can be a good idea to see that property is not accompanied with any other claims or titles to the property. So this certificate will actually certify that the property is free from any such encumbrance. Another document is the sale agreement. Now, this document is actually a promise by the builder to the or the seller to the buyer transfer the property in the future at an agreed price. Now, the thing to remember here is that this agreement, for all practical purposes, does not constitute actual transfer of ownership to the buyer. Actually, the purchase is not complete without a conveyance deed. It is just an agreement to buy or sell in the future. Talking about the conveyance deed or the sale deed, now this is the contract in which the seller actually transfers the rights of the property to the buyer, right? So it gives the buyer the absolute undisputed ownership of the type of the property. Essentially, it becomes freehold property in the hands of the buyer. So these are some of the important documents that buyers need to be aware of.
Thank you so much, Sanket, for sharing that insight. Now that we have good idea about some important terms that we need to keep in mind before we get onto the property buying market, $1 million question is whether it is good time to buy a property at present. Also, should people go for resale property or under construction property? Well, we spoke to Raj Khosla from My Money Mantra, and here is what he has to say.
Try and go for something which is ready to move in or very close to ready to move in, and that a huge amount of money is not required to complete the project anymore. It's almost so close to completion, maybe some paperwork is left, so you can go for that. One word of caution to all of us, to all of your viewers, would be, don't, just because they're good deals in terms of low pricing and easy availability of credit, is not the time to let hubris get the better of you and to say, okay, I will take a speculative decision on real estate because it's so cheap, funds were available, so I booked four flats. That, I wouldn't go there. Even if they were ready property, they were under construction. Only try at this point in time, until the pandemic gives over, if you are going to buy real estate, go for self-use, something that you can occupy yourself, whether, like I said, whether commercial or residential. But to think of it as an investment which is going to grow and in value and give you handsome returns or great amounts of rent, I wouldn't put my money there just as yet. So watch out for that.
Hope this guide was helpful for you all. For more updates, log on to economictimes.com.